Donald Trump recently had a phone call with members of the Republican Party serving in the House of Representatives, where he talked a lot about the impeachment proceedings. And he had one thing to say that really stuck out to me, and that was that he's worried that impeachment is going to stain his legacy. As one person who spoke with Axios, who was on the call, said, the president said, it's a bad thing to have on your resume. Because apparently Donald Trump is concerned about his legacy as president of the United States. And by golly, if he has impeachment on there, it's going to look pretty bad in the history books, right? Here's the thing that annoys me about this. Yes, impeachment is important. I wholeheartedly, full-throated support this. And I think the president broke the law. And I think impeachment is a slam dunk. At the same time, I don't think that this call with the Ukrainian president asking him to investigate Joe Biden is the worst thing that the president has done. Hell, I don't even think it's in the top 10 worst things that the president has ever done. I don't dislike Trump because he made this phone call. You want to know why I dislike Trump? You want to know the things that Trump should be worried about with regards to his legacy? Well, let's start at the top. How about the fact that his Department of Justice right now is suing in federal court to strip Obamacare from the public? They're literally arguing in court right now that you shouldn't have health insurance. I'd say that should be in the top 10 worst things Trump has done. Top 10 things this monster should be remembered for. How about the fact that he is repealing all of these environmental regulations, even though his own EPA has said, hey, this is going to cause literally a couple thousand deaths per year if we repeal this rule. But the administration said, we don't care. Go ahead and do it anyway. Go ahead and do it anyway. People are going to die, but go ahead and do it anyway. Yes, it's going to exacerbate climate change. You know, at a time when we should be cutting emissions, we're increasing emissions and people are dying, but sure, go ahead and do it anyway. I'm going to go ahead and probably put that at number one. That's the number one worst thing this guy has done. Very narrowly number one, because there's a lot of really bad things here. For example, the trade war damage he's doing. And he's lying to us about it every day, saying that, don't worry, China's paying those. No, they're not. We're paying them. We're paying them because U.S. companies are paying them, and they're passing those price increases on to us. Farmers going out of business. Generational farmers had the same land for decades and generations. Gone. Absolutely gone. Consumers are getting hammered. Manufacturing jobs, all-time high for job losses in the manufacturing sector for this millennia. I'd say that's pretty bad. The human rights abuses at the southern border. Locking little kids in cages. That's really bad. People are dying down there. The situation, according to international human rights authorities, has been described as massive human rights abuses committed by the United States. And I don't want to get into but Obama did it too. Yeah, he did. That doesn't make it okay now. That should be a stain on Obama's legacy, and I hope it is. But even then, it wasn't at the level that it is today. It wasn't ever official policy. It was official policy by this administration. And while we're on the subject of human rights abuses, how about their cozying up to Saudi Arabia? Congress specifically passing a bill saying you can't sell Saudi Arabia a couple $2 billion worth of weapons, and Trump doing it anyway. And then Saudi Arabia turning around, selling those same weapons to our enemies, according to reports, and committing atrocities in Yemen, including but not limited to bombing children on a school bus. How about the murder of Jamal Khashoggi? Nothing from the Trump administration. They were fine with it. And they are in fact complicit in the crimes against humanity being committed by Saudi Arabia. So that's also up there in the top 10. You have attacking equal rights in the U.S., the ban on transgender troops. You know, the attacks on the LGBTQ community coming from this administration. Absolutely deplorable. Treating human beings as if they're not quite human beings. You're not on the same level as the rest of us because of how you either identify in terms of gender or because of who you're sexually attracted to. You're less of a human to this administration based on those things. So that's also in the top 10. And then, of course, who could forget Donald Trump, the inspirational figure, inspiring all sorts of right-wing violence across this country. Whether it's people who think blacks and Jews are scum, or people who think anyone coming up from the southern border is basically, as Trump has called them, an animal. That's also in the top 10. So yeah, there's lots of things that are going to stain Donald Trump's legacy. But impeachment doesn't even make it to the top. And that's what we can't lose focus of here. That's why I'm talking about this today. Yes, it's easy to say, impeachment, impeachment, let's get him, we got him on these crimes, yeah. But don't ever, for a second, let that overshadow all of the horrible things that this administration has done, that these Republicans have done. Because that is the stuff that we need to remember as we move forward as a country, and those are the items that the next president of the United States is going to have to fix. The Ukraine situation, that's gone when Trump leaves office. All these other problems, those are still there. And that is why they are so much more important than that one phone call. Thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget, if you like what you see here, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And now you can also become a member of Ring of Fire and get exclusive early access to certain Ring of Fire videos all throughout the week. Just click on the little join button right below the video.